our little, our ham of a dog who wants to be on TV. You want to be famous? 5, 4, 3, 2. You gotta be sweet. 2, 1. Hey friends, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. We really try every time to not include him, but he wants to be on camera.
He stands at the side of us as soon as she hits the record button, and he starts whining. And then she picks him up, and he's like,
I'm
perfect.
precious.
So welcome, Orville, welcome.
He wants to be famous.
All right, so let's go. What you got?
Today we got to follow along in the inheritance of the land, something new and different.
Something new and different.
Buckle up. We're going to have this all week long. And today we do see some Bible names that we're pretty familiar with. We see the inheritance of Joseph, and then we see the inheritance of Ephraim. And I would guess, and plus I cheated and looked ahead, that we will see the inheritance of his other son tomorrow, Manasseh. And just real quick, because that is my contribution at this late hour on a Sunday night, I want to share my Sunday school, my small group is doing the Bible plan. That's what we do for our Sunday school curriculum. And so it gives us time to dig more deeply. And so that's what we can challenge ourselves to do this week as we have lists, as we have geography. Google, find you a good study Bible, find you good commentary. If Matthew Henry needs to tell me more about this land and stuff, so be it. Also, my Bible's really cool, and I am not a geographical mind, but right here, smack dab in the middle of Joshua, it is showing. Did my Bible touch your Bible?
It did. I just want your Bible on your own spot on the table.
And it shows in different colors each tribe and their land allotment. It's pretty amazing. And so I do want to challenge you guys, do not sleep on this section. It's so easy, and I'm preaching it to myself as number one. Let your eyes fall on every word, and then play the video because Preacher hopes we'll have something great to share.
I don't know about that. All right, but there are a couple of things from Joshua 16 I think that would help you. Remember, it's going to start here with telling us what happened to Joseph's family and what countryside they were given. Now, just kind of some background. Joseph was one of the children of, remember, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph was the son who wore the coat of
many colors.
And he was thrown into a pit by his brothers. He was sold into Egypt.
The favorite wife's first son.
That's right. So Joseph had a lot going on, but he was also instrumental in the fact that God was going to use him to save his family. So when it comes out at the end of the story that Joseph is not dead, that he's in fact alive, and that he's living in Egypt and he's got 2 children, Jacob is so overjoyed that he calls Joseph in at his deathbed, and he said, Joseph, I want to do something for you that's rarely done. He said, I would typically divide my estate into one portion for each of my children, but you, sir, are going to give me both of your children. Not like move in with them. That's not what happened. He said, I'm going to picture your 2 kids as my children. So you won't just receive one inheritance, you will receive 2. Now, here's what's interesting though. When Joseph had his children, Manasseh was born first and then Ephraim was born second. But when Joseph brought his boys to his daddy crossed his hands and he blessed the younger one over the other one. Now you got to ask why. Well, if you go back in that story, remember Jacob? Jacob was a twin. And he was the what born of those twins? The second born. So he ended up getting the promise. So you got this guy. Yeah, he was a little trickster. So, but what you have here is a guy going, hey, I know what it's like to be the second born, so I'm gonna, maybe that's all going on.
And we see this theme a bunch in Scripture.
That's true. So where Manasseh is born first and Ephraim is born second, Ephraim is blessed first, Manasseh is born second, and in this story, Ephraim gets their land before Manasseh. So all of this goes back to to what happened in Genesis chapter 48, which, listen, remind yourself, the Bible is not a series of just random stories compiled between 2 pieces of leather. It's one story arcing through this narrative of the story of God. Also, I want you to see all throughout Scripture this idea of the rejection of the first birth and the prize of the second birth. What did Jesus tell Nicodemus? He said that in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must be born what? Again. And so you've been born first time by flesh and blood, but the second time by the Spirit. Well, now we're starting to get a little glimpse of this. Also, I want you to see as you kind of move through here, notice the last line of this, okay? Because now you're starting to see the cracks beginning to form in this whole society. It says, and they did not drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwell among the Ephraimites to this day and have become forced labor. So this is an interesting detail because it looks like the Canaanites had been defeated, but what actually happens is the Canaanites are waging a different kind of slow war. So they're not going to fight the Ephraimites now with armies. They're going to fight them just by integrating with them. And so they say, listen, if we can't beat you by force, we'll just make you like us because we will join in with you. So when you read through this story, just understand, they thought they had the enemy under control, but they didn't see the long-term danger. And this is what sin will do to us. Listen, when sin is tempted toward us, listen, it never shows us the long-term consequences. It only shows the short term. It only shows right now. That's right. But the long term is where this stuff gets dangerous. Matter of fact, Tony Evans said it like this. He said, in growing negligent of driving out the enemy as they were instructed, Israel set themselves up for a fall long term. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to read this and go, God has a plan for my life. He knows where I am and where He wants me to be. But what are the things in my life that if I don't get them under check, they're going to cause a problem long term? Because listen, if they're going to cause a problem long term, here's the secret. They're already causing a problem in the short term. You just hadn't seen it yet. So as we read through this, don't just do the geography work, do the heart work of this. All right? See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.